Hello and welcome to the first of our new monthly product updates video series. Each month we'll be doing a rundown of Causal's latest updates, and this month we've got 3 big changes for you. The first is major changes to the core user interface of Causal to make it easier to understand what's going on in your models and navigate between different things. The second is a new AI-powered wizard that can generate a custom financial model for you from your QuickBooks or Xero data. And the third big change is the ability to do group buys directly on charts and tables without needing to create variables first. Let me show you how each of these work. So first up, we have the changes to the core user interface. I've got a causal model here, and you'll notice that a few things are different than before. The first big change is that we now have a data column on the spreadsheet. So you can see that there's a column in between the trend and the formula columns, and this column shows us the number of different data items from each data source that a variable is connected to. And so right off the bat, I can see that this line is connected to 5 data items. I can click through and see what they are. I can change these settings. And so it just makes it much more explicit when you're working with historical data in Causal. So that's the first change. The second change with regards to the spreadsheet is that you can now customize which columns are shown at any point in time. And so you'll see that we have these buttons here for trend, data, and formula. If we're working in a model where we're not using any historical data, we can hide the data column. If we know that we don't need to see the trend, we can hide that. And similarly, we can hide the formula column and just look at numbers as well. And so it's a lot more customizable depending on what you need at any point in time. And the final big change is a completely revamped sidebar that shows you an overview of all of the different things going on in your model. So you'll see that at the top of the sidebar, we're showing all the different models that are linked together. And so we're in the financial model and it's linked to our revenue and headcount model. If we had any categories being used in this model, they show up here. And all of our data sources that are used in this model are here as well. And if we click on any of these items, we can see a preview down at the bottom, and of course we can resize that and dismiss it as well. If I click through into the B2B SaaS revenue model, you'll see that we have a category here, and we can click through and see a preview of that category. And so the sidebar gives you a nice, neat overview of the key different components of the model that you're working in. A few other changes as well to the UI. Some buttons have moved around, some icons have changed, but the key things that we've now changed are the sidebar, the data column, and the customizable spreadsheet columns. The next big update is our new AI-powered wizard. If you're just getting started with Causal, you can click on the P&L wizard button here on the right column. If you're making a new account, this will automatically show up once you sign up. The P&L wizard will let you connect to your Xero or QuickBooks account. In this case, I'm already connected to QuickBooks, and so I can click through and use my existing QuickBooks data source. It'll then crunch the numbers behind the scenes and use some AI magic to take all of that data coming in from Xero or QuickBooks and bucket things in different ways to show you a nice overview of your company's financials, complete with a basic set of forecasts and calculations. And so this is the dashboard view of the new AI wizard. It's showing some summary charts and some tables. And if we go behind the scenes by clicking the Edit Model button, we can see what's going on here. You can see that the AI has decided which data items to connect to which variables in Causal. These are all dynamic, depending on your chart of accounts. Causal will generate different variables. Causal will connect different things to each of them. And so if we take a look at our payroll variable, this is connected to 5 different items that the AI has identified are related to payroll. And so we can see what those are in this case. The same goes for office facilities and equipment. The AI has gone through and decided that we should bucket all of these 13 items into one. This is obviously just a starting point, and you can create new variables, connect new things up, disconnect things, add new assumptions, change formulas in here to take your model to the next level. But this is the quickest starting point for building a financial model in Causal. The final big change is the ability to do group buys directly on charts and tables without needing to first create variables. Now, what do I mean by that? This is a typical example of a headcount model. You'll see that we have this employee category. Each employee belongs to a different title. Each title lives inside a particular department. And this is the kind of scenario in which we might want to be able to see what our total payroll cost is by department rather than by employee. Now we've got the employee level calculations here. We've got our salaries by employee, we've got our taxes by employee. And historically, we would have had to create variables, for example, the total payroll cost by department, where we've done the group by within the formula. So this is what we would have had to do previously. And once we had this variable, we'd be able to right click, create a chart, and we would be able to see the total payroll cost by department on that chart. Now with the latest update, what we can do is directly go into one of these variables. So we have salaries and it's broken down here by employees. We can create a new chart for our salaries. And if we scroll to the bottom, we should see our new chart. If we just hit the edit icon, we can now customize this. So the variable itself was only broken down by employee, but you'll see here in the sidebar, we can actually regroup it by any of these different categories. And so if we click on department here, the chart is now showing the departmental breakdown, even though the variable was at the employee level. And so this just makes it much easier to work with categories in Causal. You don't have to manually create a bunch of extra variables. As long as you have the calculations at the kind of base level granularity of your category, in this case employee, then you can do the roll-ups and the aggregations, the groupings, the filterings directly on your charts and tables, and it reduces the amount of duplication you need when building things like headcount models. That's it for this month. Tune in again next month and we'll share the latest updates then.